going on, everybody? I am Tiffany B. I am a part of the Stats on Stats podcast, and today we are here with DEM Tech Folks.
This is Reginald from DEM Tech Folks.
And we've been talking to people at the BSides St. Pete, and we have one of those people with us today, and we're going to let him tell us who he is.
Hi, my name's Nick. I'm a local to the Tampa Bay area, and I like coming to these events because you get to see great people like the ones in front of us right now, and some interesting topics being discussed. Yeah.
As you know, we talk a little bit about tech, cyber, IT, all of that stuff, and so we want to know what it is that you do and what brought you to BSides St. Pete.
Best way to sum it up is threat management. I like to focus on CTI, kind of all aspects of it. I think, being a government contractor before, it's a whole different field going from government side to the civilian side of what CTI actually is. And what drew me to it, I like the whole aspect of trying to figure out what people are doing. I like to solve the puzzle. I like to have things go from a reactive to a proactive so we can get ahead. And I think it's pretty funny when you beat people at their own game, essentially.
Great. So can you talk about how that drew you to this conference and what you've learned along the way when it comes to conferences and how they help you in your career?
Yeah, so with conferences, there's a lot of innovation, and a lot of what you want to do to stay ahead is what's new, what's trending. And one of the speakers today hit on it pretty succinctly in saying that a lot of companies are going after the new tools because the adversaries haven't figured out what those tools are yet themselves. So I like that perspective. And again, it's a lot of innovation and a lot of different perspectives. When you get into the rooms where they have open Q&As, people are asking questions and people are starting to think, especially product review ones, when guys or gals are talking about the stuff they developed. One of the first sessions I was in, it was a gentleman developed his own testing tool, and some of the Q&A session that happened with it, he's like, that's, good feedback, that's a good idea. And not a whole lot of people do that outside of these conferences because everybody doesn't want to make that stupid comment on GitHub.
So you talked a little bit about the things you like about cybersecurity. What would you say is the most rewarding thing you find about being in cybersecurity?
The most rewarding thing about cybersecurity is when you actually have something you worked on, detection or preventative control, that actually does its job. So it's rewarding when you're in an environment and it actually comes to fruition and you can actually see it work. And you actually stop something that could have, one, cost a lot of money, or two, saved some people a lot of headache.
So you are in CTI, so you do all that intelligent, super cool, spy stuff?
Allegedly.
Okay. When you think about people who might be interested in what it is that you do, what advice would you give to them?
Advice to get into CTI, you have to know the threat landscape. So if it changes from area to area, and you call different things vertical, stacks, industries. Whichever one you're looking to get into, you have to know the threat actors, technologies used. So start taking a look at that. But also when you read the stories, and there's a lot of open source stuff out there about actors, MITRE being a big one for blue teamers. Start to take a look at the common languages that are being spoken amongst the community if you're looking to get into it. And really just, you got to buckle down and do a lot of research. And I don't know if it's a question on there. The one thing that I dislike about the field is it takes a lot of time and a lot of research. So especially if you got family, friends, and a fun life, it can detract from it sometimes. But.
So if you had a superpower that you could use in your cybersecurity career, what would it be? And you can't say instant research downloads.
If I could have one superpower within cybersecurity, it would be probably to know every single programming language there is. So if I had that, making tool sets for open collection, scraping, automation tools, that would immensely make everybody's life easier. So that would be my superpower.
All right. Any advice that you have for people who are interested in technology, IT, anything? So first, advice, and then second, like what resource would you absolutely recommend to everyone?
I would get out there and just start learning. When people say like, oh, you're in IT, you must know this. There's so much stuff within IT. There's so many fields even within cybersecurity that you can get into. Do some of the basic research, find out, one, what you're interested in, and once you find that out, the resources I would recommend, you can have free accounts and free training all the time, but go to conferences, go to networking events, actually get to know the people, the companies that are out there. But in terms of resources, I've used it for years and years and years, and I know at one point you have too, cybrary.it, that's a great resource. They're only growing and they have virtual labs and everything. It's fun. For veterans, FedVTE, that's another good training platform that's free. Really all you need is a government email as well. And yeah, just get out there. There's a lot of training resources out there. So many, I honestly can't name them all.
So I was going to say, to kind of like add on to what Tiffany was saying, where do you see the industry in the next 5 to 10 years based on all the things you read and all the things you've experienced?
Based on what I've read and somewhat what I've experienced, everything is going to go towards how do I make this easier? Whether that's AI or language learning models, everybody wants to take what's extremely technical and extremely hard to do and make it to the point where even a level 1 or tier 1 analyst can handle the task. Everybody wants to be able to just simply type in, show me, this tactic, and it happens. Show me this information across, whatever log set you have. Like, say you have a SIEM tool, log collection, Elastic, Splunk, whatever. If they had a simple language model in there where you could just say, show me the random, or show me, what would appear to be beaconing, and it would, pipe out stuff. I think that's where it's all going to start going.
I've already seen that at work. Sam is like, show me what APT 44 is doing, and it's like, these are all the tactics. So definitely. If you're not already
doing that in your own personal research time, whether it be ChatGPT or whatever you're using, whatever data you have fed into it, if you're not using that, you're already behind the curve. So being able to ask simple questions and get simple answers is the key to go, at least for an initial start point.
I love the fact that you said something a little bit different from anybody else I've ever heard. Usually most people go straight to AI, but you said, hey, what do I do to make it easier? So that's a great point.
We are super excited that you came here to be a part of the podcast with DEM Tech Folks and Stats on Stats podcast at the BSides St. Pete.
Great to be here and see you again. And yeah, for anybody who's watching this, get out in the community, start going to conferences. I like BSides because I have local presenters. It's not big name companies out here, so it's a good time.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Awesome, Nick.